Next, we're going to be needle sculpting the face a bit to give it a bit of shape and to create eye sockets for the eyes. To do this, you're going to need 4 pins to mark your spots. You're going to need your upholstery needle, and you're going to need a length of your same lilac main color yarn on that, and you'll need your scissors at the end. Now, first we're going to mark the spots we're going to work through. So our first pin goes by the left eye, at the top of it, touching the eye in the center. Our second pin goes just below the eye, still touching it. So you've got your 2 pins coming out like that, just above and below the left eye, centralized. Going to do exactly the same thing on the other side with pin number 3 at the top and pin number 4 at the bottom. So you'll have your pins right next to the eyes and touching it. So we're going to work between these 4 points when we needle sculpt the face. We're then going to take our needle, we're going to enter in a random stitch at the top here, and we're going to angle it to the side to come out here by point 1. We want the needle to come out right next to the safety eye, like that. I'm now going to remove this to take the pin out of my way. You can leave it in place if you're worried you'll lose your spot. We then pull the yarn through. You want to leave a yarn tail dangling from this entry spot that you've got at the top. You'll need it later to tie off and to tighten. So make sure that you don't pull this tail through. We're now going to go in here where our second pin is with the needle. Take the pin out of the way, and we're going to come out here on the other side where our third pin is, like that. Take it out of the way so you can see the needle is moving on the inside between the 2 eyes. Pull it through. Make sure you don't let your yarn tail pull through. Now, as you get to this point, you'll see that the yarn is making a stitch over your eye. You want to push that stitch to the outside, not the inside. Hold on to your short yarn tail and pull on the long one. You'll see as you pull, it'll actually slip under the safety eye and disappear, and you'll see your safety eye is starting to sink in with you pulling. That's exactly what we wanted to do. You're then going to go in by this last pin, move it out the way, and you're going to come back out where your first pin had been by the other eye, like that. Pull through. Again, you want the stitch to fall to the outside of the eye, not the inside. You want to hold on to the short tail so it doesn't get pulled in, and you want to pull tight so that the yarn actually disappears under the safety eye. You can see it's starting to dent in a little bit, creating an eye socket. Now we're going to repeat this process a couple of times because we want it to dent in more than it has so far. And we're going to use the exact same points to repeat the exact same stitches. And each time we want the stitch to fall to the outside of the safety eye. When we pull tight, we want it to go under. See, as we're pulling, it's going in more there now. Each repetition, the eye will sink in a little bit deeper. We call this process needle sculpting, and you can really use it to change the shape of your toys a lot, from a basic crochet shape to something more advanced. There we go. You can see we're starting to have a more pointy nose here instead of that perfect round that we had before. So I'm going to repeat this one more time so that I've done it 3 times in total. So I like it to be nice and tight and secure. Don't pull too hard on any one turn or you might break your yarn. It's better to let it gradually tighten with each repetition that you make. Okay. One thing you want to make sure of is that your eyes are staying on the same height. You don't want them to shift like that or like that and become uneven. You can see they've nicely sunk in. If you look from the top, it's not round anymore. You've now got this nose area peeking out, which is exactly what we wanted. You can now just go in at the stitch, and we're going to work towards this original entry point that we had, because we want our ending yarn tail to come out of the same spot as our starting yarn tail. Just let it slip under the eye. You can see they're not in the same hole yet, so I'm just going to go back in this exact same hole I came out of and move my needle to that side. There we go. Now that they're coming out of the same hole, we can simply knot them together. To make sure that nothing comes loose later on. Snip it off short. And we're just going to push that knot into the head. That's what we mean when we say hide your yarn tail inside the head. And now there's no evidence left that you ever had yarn that you used to change the shape of his head. And this is what you should have after needle sculpting the face for Bailey the Beginner Bunny.